Yo, what's up, bro? I'm just gonna put this in the live thing, so
Yeah, man.
give me 1 second. Go live. I want to um Brandon, are you gonna put your AI thing in here to record this?
My Fathom? No, I wasn't planning on it.
I think Adam wanted you to.
Are you sure?
I don't know, he
I'll do it on tomorrow's Friday sales call, yes, but I don't normally do them on Thursday.
okay, then
Yeah.
that's fine. Maybe it was Fridays. Um, why is this not okay? So live sales training Thursday night. Let me just share this copy invite link. Okay, why would this not go live? Let me stop the streaming. Stop streams. I want to go live in the free group. Start streaming. Okay, and we're gonna go live. All right, cool. We're live. So let's do it. Let me make sure that I have everybody in here. How are Adam's in here? All right, all right. Remove. I have a bunch of the recordings in here. So cool. I want to tell you, if you're watching on the live stream, click the link in the description so you could join here, so you can be a part of this, and we can go from there. So I see we have a couple people in here. Hi, Julia. How are you? You're on mute.
Good.
How are you?
How are you?
Good. I am doing great. Um, I want to let everybody know that if you're watching on the, what's it called, on the Facebook group, there's a link inside the description. So click on that so that you can join here, so that you can be a part of it, because I can't see all of the comments. I have to go to a different screen. So just letting everybody know that. The purpose of these calls is really just I come in here unscripted. I do kind of have a cool thing that I watched the other day that I want to start off with, because it kind of hit home. If you've ever watched the movie Wedding Crashers, in the beginning, this might be a little bit rated R, but in the beginning of the movie, there's a funny scene that it hit home with me, and it reminded me of sales. And so I want to pull this up, and I want to Crashers, Wedding Crashers. I want to play this because this movie in the beginning scene plays a funny scene, and it reminded me of basically like how sales goes, or how sales happen, and how we can take control extremely quickly from from the beginning, right from the beginning of a conversation, and we can stem from there. um I don't know if you guys have ever seen Wedding Crashers. It's pretty funny. but I'm gonna play it so that you guys can hear with it. The thing is that there might be some, I don't remember the exact scene, but there might be some language. If you have kids around, like, I don't know, turn, maybe put your headphones in. I don't know. It's a little inappropriate, but it's a great scene because it's going to tie back to what I kind of want to talk about tonight about sales. So, yeah, I'll just play it real quick. Can you guys see my screen with a million tabs open? Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Put a
Yes.
one in the chat. Okay, yeah, okay, I hear you guys. All right, so actually, let me stop sharing and then let me share it again because I have to share the sound. That's what I didn't do. So share sound. No. Stop share. I shared the wrong screen. Share sound, and it's going to be this one. Share. Okay, so let's jump into it real quick, and we'll circle back on this.
I don't have custody of the kids.
You know what?
I don't get
It has
custody.
been insane, pathetic
But
joke.
right
what I've
now,
had to go through.
she doesn't know where the kids are.
Do not talk about me as a mother.
At
I'm so
home?
sick to death of you talking
And
about
your
me
sisters?
as a mother and what I've done
They're
wrong.
probably at a firehouse.
You guys can hear that?
Do
Drop
not
them
talk
off.
about that. I am sick of you accusing me of not being a good mother.
They
7
home?
years I've been a
Some
good mother.
kind of
Just
perfect
remember
mother. I
when we
can't
went
have
out.
custody.
Just remember
Right
how you
now.
upturn a bitch.
Where is
Don't you
Tim
fucking
right
talk about
fucking
me
now?
being a mother. I hate you.
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't you just kiss my left nut? I told you this was a bad idea.
You know what, Ken? The bad idea would be to let your client walk out of here today and drag this thing out for another year, wasting more time and wasting more money. The only good idea is let me and John do our job and mediate this thing right here.
You want to hear the crazy thing? I know it doesn't feel like it, but we're making progress. We settled the deal with the cars. Let's say it takes us to frequent flyer miles. We're flying.
Those are
I
mine.
want them.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to split them right down the middle. How'd that be, Mr. Kroger?
It would be not good at all. I earned those miles.
Yeah, you earn them flying to
These
dinner.
are like objections.
Oh, Lord.
She's not afraid to express herself sexually, if that's what you mean.
She is a stripper, for God's sake.
She is not.
Her name is Chastity. She is white trash. Same as you. Hillbilly.
That's it. Go comatose for me, baby.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Hold it. This is getting confusing. You didn't always hate each other. There had to be some nice moments during the courtship, maybe? Or the wedding?
The wedding had to be fun.
You get the
have your families
decorations,
together.
families coming together. That's a nice moment. What'd you have to eat?
Crab cakes.
Are you kidding me? Crab cakes? How could you not have a
I
good
love
time eating crab cakes? I love them.
And
They're
you got
phenomenal.
a band? Did you have a band?
Yeah.
Good or bad?
Who gives a shit? It's a great band. It's a bad band. It's like pizza, baby. It's good no matter what. There's music in the air.
Shout and
Yeah.
you hate it. A little bit.
Hey, shout now.
hey,
Jump up and
hey,
shout
hey.
now. It's a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rubbing up against each other. Just a couple of kids who like to fuck trying to make it honest. I get it. Guys, the real enemy here is the institution of marriage. It's not realistic. It's crazy. And don't do this for the other person. It's about saying yes to yourself and saying yes to your future.
Say yes.
And have some opportunities for yourself. I'm sure you'd love to be free. Maybe go out and meet some Latin guy that can dance, grind up on you, make it feel dangerous, but also safe. And how about you? Don't you want to get inside chastity without having to wonder everyone's going to find out?
God, wouldn't that be sweet?
Wouldn't that be nice? And have some Latin guy sweating all over you, talking to you in languages you don't understand, needing you, wanting you, taking you?
All we're trying to say is, put your swords away for a second. Let's finish this and let's move on.
Get out there and get some strange ass.
Could you give her a glass of water so she can take that?
Hey, John, that's weird. That glass looks half full to me.
Wow. Now that you mention it, it is half full.
You can have the miles.
Sweetie, you take the miles.
Great. Great. Let's sign the paperwork and we are done.
These are just semantics. If you guys want to throw a couple miles at us, we'll take a couple. The big thing is that we're all moving on.
Could you two just not talk anymore?
So that right there, I watched that the other day. That's sales. That went from this whole crazy first call into like they both confided in them because they took control of the situation, and they ended up saying, no, you can have the miles. You can have the miles. Like when I watched that the other day, I mean, that's from 2005. Me and my girlfriend watched it the other day, and I was like, man, no, this is a great movie. This is not that old. And then I realized, wow, it's 20 years old. But I was like, that first scene literally is a sales call. And those sales calls are the same as what we get into. Obviously, not like that. That's more of a funny thing. But they went from all these objections to them just taking control of those objections and saying, like, what are we talking about? What are we doing? No, we want to get from point A to point Z. And the way that we do that is remember all the good times, right? In sales, it's like, well, think of where you want to be. How many times have you been in this situation or that situation or whatever the case is? And then at the end, they're like, you know what? She can have the miles. He can have the miles. And they're like, and then they make a joke. Well, I want the miles. If you guys are going to start giving out miles, I want miles. And so those are how sales calls can operate, right? Because they give you all these sorts of objections and things like that, and you can defer them. So I always talk about, the defer method of you ask a question, right? Oh, wow, that glass looks half full, right? And then all of a sudden everything changes. Oh, you're with this guy, this girl. Oh, you want, like, they're feeding their little egos, right? So, what's his name? What's the blonde hair guy's name? Tell me his name.
Owen Wilson.
Oh, Owen Wilson is like, oh, you want, or no, the other guy, which is Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn is like, oh, you just want this Hispanic guy over here, and you can have this, but guys, think about the time that you guys got married. Did you guys have a band? Like it completely changes the 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 discussion where they're getting all sorts of like angry and upset and blah blah blah. And it's like, well, think about the good times. Did you guys have a band? Yeah, we did have a band. They deferred it. They're not talking about him cheating on her or her taking the pills, and it's like, we're not talking about that. We're talking about miles, and how we can be successful is we walk out of here and we have a plan. And when I watched that, I was like, you know what, I'm going to use that on our Thursday night call, because that's what sales is all about. Is each call is the next step to the next thing that you want to get to achieve, or what the client wants to achieve. So all these little objections that they put into you, you don't have to fall into those objections. You basically just reroute it the way that you want it to reroute. And obviously, I know Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn are a lot funnier than me and you probably combined. But at the same time, you can be yourself and you can adjust that type of thing. So adjust that type of conversation to where you want it to go. I don't know if that's a far reach in sales in this call, but I hope that you guys like understand, you know, that was a sales call. Like they were the lawyers or whatever trying to close out a deal for them, and they were the mediators between it. So that's how I wanted to start this call out. I saw it the other day and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play that. And I think that that's a good, like, level down to what we need to do as salespeople. But I'll go around the questions. If you have a question, raise your hand. Brandon has his up and Bill has his up. So yeah, let's do it. Brandon, what's up? How can I help you?
Hey, Nick. So on last Thursday's call, I kind of got you up to speed of where I was at with things after I had a conversation with Jeff that previous Monday. And he suggested to like take some time in, your monthly reoccurring offer type thing. And I've come to realize that like copy is one of the biggest things that could either kill your sales or increase them, right? And I'm just
Mm.
trying to find that medium ground of how much time do I put into copy that I think is going to convert. I don't want to put all this time and effort, create a script that totally bombs and it's not converting, versus taking the extra time to just really give it some thought, get some insight from other people, and create like the best possible sales machine I can without having to keep going back to the drawing board. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think the only amount of thought that you have to put into it are the current pain points of where your people are at. And I'll give you an example. Like, think about Subway. When you go and make a sandwich, this, I don't know, I'm gonna come up with this off the top of my head, but like you go to Subway and you wouldn't say, I want a mayo sandwich, right? You'd say like, I want a chicken sandwich, right?
Mm-hmm.
The entire sandwich is made around the chicken, and then you add the lettuce, the tomato, the cheese, and the bread. So I think a lot of marketers and a lot of salespeople, they try to sell a mayo sandwich because they don't know the pain points of where those people are currently at. And
Right.
the pain point is the chicken. You wouldn't put like, I don't know, like you wouldn't put, maybe that's not a good idea. I don't know what you wouldn't put on a chicken sandwich. Like you wouldn't put mustard on it. Maybe you would put mustard on a chicken sandwich, but like you wouldn't go to Subway and be like, I want a olive and I want a vinegar and olive sandwich, right?
Yeah.
You have to get the crux of the sandwich. So your copy is either it's chicken or it's teriyaki chicken or it's like the Italian BMT. Like all of the sandwiches at Subway are named something based off the meat. So you need to get the meat of your copy. And the copy is the pain point, the same way that, you know, I don't know, you're almost like writing a prescription to the symptoms of what they have. So think of like a doctor. A doctor has you come in, it's like my sinuses are stuffy, my throat hurts. He's going to give you a pill. He's not going to just say, "Hey, go take ibuprofen," because if your leg is cut, you're going to need stitches. You got to have the crux of it. So think of a sandwich. I mean, I don't know, that's just random thing, but like think of the sandwich. You wouldn't go into Subway and say, I want a mayonnaise sandwich. So don't
I
write
get what you're saying.
copy around a
Yeah.
mayonnaise sandwich. Write copy around, I want a chicken sandwich with mayonnaise, lettuce, tomato, aceitunas in Spanish is olives. I don't know, whatever it is that you want. So the time frame on writing the copy doesn't have to be a long time. What it needs to be is it needs to be the pain point of where the people are at right now. So for instance, if I were to try to sell you guys into joining Go High Level Mastery, it would be, how many phone calls are you guys going to jump on every Thursday without getting a client, right? It'd be like, what if we had a group where you pay $50 and I get on your sales call with you right now or tomorrow or whatever, right? That's the pain point where you currently are right now. Whereas, you know, hiring a team to be on a call or to build all this stuff out with you is $1,000. It might be looked at as if it's like an expense. But if you don't have those sales, if you don't have those calls set up, well, there's no point in paying $1,000 for something if you don't have anything lined up. So the crux of your copy is, hey, like what is it that you're selling right now, Brandon?
I'm going more down the voice AI path, but that can also include conversational AI for SMS marketing as well, like
Okay,
Marcus.
so
Yeah.
for what company? Give me a company.
Well, I'm going a little bit more broader with the home service industries. As I shared last week, I've started conversations with a lot of those type of businesses because that's just people.
What are their pain points over and over again that they keep telling you?
Yeah, some of that does come to like follow-up systems, putting follow-up systems with their existing clients or one-off clients, stuff like that.
Okay, but now let's think of the symptoms as a doctor, okay? So
Mhm.
what are the symptoms? What are the pain points that they have by not getting the follow-up? Which in this example, I would think of like how much money are they missing out on that they don't even know they're missing out on? Like they know they have a problem of we can't follow up, but what's
Right.
the monetary value?
Yeah, and some of that is digging that out and getting them to think about that because they haven't really considered that, some of them,
Okay,
to
so
an
that's my
extent of
point.
like, oh, well, that could really impact my annual profits sort of thing, you know? So,
That's my point. That's the
yeah,
chicken in your sandwich.
yeah.
So if you wrote copy of how many, what was it, like how many missed calls have you not followed up with? And
Hmm.
if your ex like home service company, like let's just say an HVAC company, like
Yep.
I'm making this up, I don't know, but let's just say
I follow.
let's say you had a landing page of if you're a home service, if you're an HVAC company, I know your average checkout price, your average profit from a home visit is $400. And if you
Hmm.
have 10 phone calls come and you're only answering 3, you're closing 2, so that's $800. Where's the remaining, let's take 8 times 4, where's the remaining $3,200?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's your chicken, that's the chicken in the sandwich. That's the
Mhm.
pain point that they're at right now. So you have to get them to see the pain point that they know they already have, but in a monetary way. And you can play with this, but it would be something along the lines of like missed calls are costing you $4,300 a week. Here's why. And then your copy starts to go through missed phone calls for an HVAC company are costing you $4,300 a week. Like that's the headline.
Hmm.
And then the subheadline is like, here's why. Hey, I've spoken to 150 HVAC companies in the past year, and I've helped them grow by 311% by using this, but I'll get to that in a minute. Here's what happens. And now you level with them. And now this is the lettuce, this is the tomato, this is the pepper, this is the olives on top. And now it's like, here's why. Because what happens is 10 people call you from Google, which you're paying an SEO agency to run for you, which costs another $1,000 a month. But the problem is that Sally in the front office is not answering all those calls, and she has this really hard time of following back up with them because she's got other work like accounting, like uh, scheduling, like sending out the people, the customer service things. I don't know, whatever it is. And what happens is that she misses on those calls. So there's a direct correlation between the amount of phone calls that you get and the answered phone calls to the amount of money. So if you have 10 coming in and you're only answering 3 and closing 2, there's a gap between 8. And now they start to think in a monetary way. So that's the copy that you would write on your landing page of like, this is what's happening because now they can see it. And then now you go into the solution based. Here's how we're overcoming this because we introduced AI into it. So for all those 8 extra people, imagine Sally never having to do anything other than talk to the people that are ready to pay you. And when they do pay you, or when the AI, I would stay away from trying to sell AI by calling it AI. I would make it like where you have this amazing system that they need to book a call with you to figure out how it works. And so you want to do it in a way where it's like, you know, what I just said, like we have this system that actually books calls for you where you're able to increase the amount of phone calls because we already went over that. We know that more phone calls means more revenue.
Right.
And by doing this, it does this, this, and this. And then you do this like imagine stage. Imagine Sally only being on phone calls with people who want to have a booking or want to have someone come to their house within the next 2 days, right? Because that's their symptom. They don't have that happening. They have it where it's like someone calls and then they're like, yeah, well, we were thinking maybe you could come in 3 weeks. 3 weeks is more work for Sally,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like Sally's not going to follow up with that because between now and 3 weeks, she's going to have 400 more phone calls and she's going to forget about the guy that said that it was in 3 weeks. So in your copy, you don't have to talk about AI. It's almost like you're keeping that hidden, and that's what they're missing out by not scheduling a call with you.
Hmm.
So you don't want to tell them, you don't want to give all your cards right away. You want to leave this mystery of like, yo, what the hell? This guy has something. He's talking my language. You're talking their language of the current pain point that they have right now, not what the AI or the go high level or whatever can fix in the future, because there's a big gap there. So you want to tell them right away, and I'll bring this back of like that chicken sandwich. You're you, no one wants to order a mayonnaise sandwich. They want to order a chicken sandwich, and that chicken is the problem that they currently have, and that's what your copy is. And then you reset it when you get on the phone. Now you're reselling a chicken sandwich, but the chicken sandwich is now you might be able to talk about AI. I don't know
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I don't directly call it AI all the time. I often refer to it as a voice assistant, but I'm also trying to like draw the comparison of the efficiency of using something like that versus outperforming your human team of other things and kind of giving an educational, put it into perspective kind of angle. So
Okay.
yes, I know you say don't say AI. I do mention it. It's in my name as well, and a lot of my previous content is centered on like live demo calls. So it's kind of out there already. So I'm just addressing it and giving a little more insight into how and why this is how it works. But
I would stay far away from how it works. Everybody else is showing how it works. You want to show what the results to what you're going to get by booking a
yes,
call with you, or
yes,
by
maybe
clicking
that
on
was a
the
better way to
button
put
and downloading whatever it is that they want. Do not show them how it works. You don't need to show them how it works. Like, don't even give them like Adam said, don't even give them a demo. The demo is going to get them super confused because you're taking them from this point of, I have this problem and everybody else is reaching out to me and they're trying to sell me something. But that's why I asked you, like, what are if you're talking to these people, and if you've recorded this on Fathom or you have a Zoom call, like, you should record them and then upload all the transcripts into ChatGPT and say,
Mhm.
hey, do me a favor. I'm trying to write copy, but what I need to do is I need to figure out the pain points or the symptoms of what they have so I can get the ball rolling right now to get them on a call with me. And ChatGPT is going to come back and say, we don't need to talk about forms, we don't need to talk about AI, we don't need to talk about Marcus, we don't need to talk about workflows or pipelines or any of that, because that's not what they need. They just want Sally to, instead of closing 3 clients, I'll say per day, they want Sally to be closing 9 clients per day. So just show them how they're going to close 9 clients per day, and that's it. Because nothing else matters. It's your job to show them, it's your job to deliver that. And if they ask how it works, you can say, well, yeah, I mean, Sally's only going to be on a phone call with the people that are ready to buy. Why is Sally talking to 100 people a day and only 3 of them are closed? Imagine just having that. If you really want to know, I could tell you, like, we just trained AI on that, but I'm not going to get into that because that's what I do. There's prompting, there's workflows, there's all this coding behind the scenes. You just tell me what you want. That's
Yeah,
it.
and that's more. I guess what you're saying is more the path I'm on right now. I'm not like showing people the back end of how this is built, the pipelines or any of that. I'm just sort of drawing the comparison between the efficiency of having something like this in your business and the results it delivers to your team versus having, to hire extra staff to do this.
So
That's it.
when this is over,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe you can download the video inside Facebook. Download this section. I don't know how long we've been on this call, but
It's
download this section and just take this section of what I just told you and
yeah.
put it into put it into CapCut, get the transcript or however, I don't know. I see on Facebook there's a transcript of me live, so it's got to be somewhere. Get the transcript and just upload this into ChatGPT and say, "Hey, I need help," what Nick was telling me, and it will just do it.
Yeah, for sure. No, thanks for that, Nick. That's good.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Bill, how are you, man?
Good. How you doing, Nick?
Good. How
Good.
can I?
Hey, I was kind of curious. Have you thought about maybe doing some literal sales voice training? In other words, literally do some back and forth here and do some live, interactive live kind of sales training because I think you'd be awesome at it. So if I'm like, hey, right now, Nick, I am literally one of the top home renovation specialists in Dallas. And what I want to know is you got a hold of me. I saw your ad and you said you do stuff that can help me market. So what does that mean? What do you mean market? I mean, it's pretty general, but you got my attention.
Yeah, let's do it. Like, I don't, do you want to be the person trying to sell me something and I give you a hard time, or do you want me to be the sales rep and you're the company? I'll
I'll
do
be
it
the
with you.
I'll be the company. You be the rep.
Okay, what are we selling? What am I selling?
You're gonna sell AI agent. Well, three things. You're gonna sell an AI agent, which is the web agent. So you want the web agent, you want the voice response. So all inbound right now. We're selling them on an inbound solution, and then to upsell them to a outbound solution later on, like an instant response to other things. But for now, let's go with an inbound.
Okay, and what's the industry?
Industry is home renovations, home remodeling.
So like kitchens or bathrooms or stuff like that.
Kitchens and baths. That's what we do. Kitchens and baths. That's mainly what we do. And we do sometimes we'll do whole basement renovations as well, because right now the suite world is building a new suite is rental suites are getting hot. But we started with kitchens and baths, and we're looking to transition to that.
Okay,
How-
and how are you guys currently getting like clients or leads or people to get a hold of you?
We do
Where's
three
your
ways.
business coming from?
Three ways. We advertise. We advertise on Facebook and Instagram, typically right now, and we do paper. We actually do newspaper, local newspaper ads. They seem to actually work pretty well for us, which is weird because we get good clients coming in from them, like they really want stuff out of the newspaper ads, and we're just experimenting with radio right now.
Okay, which one is working the best for you?
Right now, I'd say just the conventional Facebook, Instagram ads. Those are the ones that are working the best for us because we get direct input from them and we respond to them. And we don't want to respond to every one of them. That's our problem. We got like closers. We got a couple of closers here, and they're spending 85% of their time responding to stuff that might be tire kicking. And I understand you can help me on that.
Okay. You don't have to tell me this if you don't want to, but how much are you paying these closers
90,000 bucks for the typically what they earn
for a year?
per year. Yeah.
And you have how many of them?
Two.
Two. So 180 grand is out the door no matter what if they close it or not.
Pretty much. They're 60,000 base and they earn about 30,000 on
On the
commission.
commissions.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So why are you doing the radio and the newspaper ads if you're spending that much money? Why wouldn't you double down on those if they're going to be talking to those people?
Well, the thing is we actually get a whole bunch of leads, but they're not qualified. They're, Like they're coming in and they're just not being qualified. They're about the vast majority are tire kickers, and we want to sift through the tire kickers better. That's really what we need to do. We need to make these closers literally closing all the time.
Okay, and from Facebook and Instagram, you're not really getting much tire kickers, or you
Yeah,
are
we
between
get
all.
lots of tire kickers in all of them so far. The least amount of tire kickers is actually through newspaper, but newspaper is by far the most expensive advertising.
Really? Okay. All right. So, okay. So let's move a little bit past that for now. So when you have, it doesn't, because it doesn't really matter where they're coming from. You're just getting tire kickers from all around. And it doesn't really matter how much we're spending on the ads. Is let's think about the customer journey. When someone calls you, the reason why I want to focus on customer journey is because people want to people want to buy, they don't want to be sold to. And so my question to you would be, what frameworks do you have in line right now for the two closers or setters that you hire, that you're monitoring basically how they are selling? Like, do you have scripts? Do you have like any SOPs in place for them
We
that
do.
they're following?
We
Okay.
do. And really what we're doing is they're measured on a number of different ways, but the most critical way for new work is through quotations. I mean, basically, as soon as we get to the point where we're doing a full quotation to someone, that's not a tire kicker at least, 30% of the time. A lot of the quotes turn into customers because we know how to quote and we know how to follow up with our closers. That's the key. But trying to get to that point, we need help where our closers aren't the ones asking the questions to get them to that point. We're trying to sift through. That's what you contacted me on. So I'm hoping to
Yeah,
hear
that's what I
something
was
from
wondering.
you.
So these guys are contacting you and they are like talking,
Yeah.
but you're getting tire kickers that are contacting you, and out of 10 people, you're getting 3 people or 3 jobs to go out and give them a quote, right?
That's maybe about right. That sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay. When you give them a quote, are you sending people out, like, do you know the radius of like how far your service area is? Is it like, 20 miles north and 20 miles south, 20 miles east, 20 miles west? So I don't know, a big circle.
Well, it's typically it's the town. It's typically San Diego. I mean,
Okay,
just San Diego proper.
okay.
And
And
some of
your
the
ads are basically your ads are targeted to those correct people. Like you're not getting people that are 150 miles away.
no.
Okay, okay, cool. Once you go out to that area or to their home, um, how many people follow through with like getting your services? You said 30%, because you
Yeah,
have 30% of people want the quote, but how many people, like, so let's just take an example. 10 people, your closers your guys are talking to them. 3 people, they go out to the home. Out of those 3, how many people are like
closing
close? Yeah,
one or two, one or two.
1 or 2. So there's one guy that's missing. Do you know the reason why that guy is not going through with it?
Not generally. We don't have a very good system to follow up on that. I mean, we do. We follow up on every client. We kind of keep going, and we actually stay at them until they basically tell us to go away in a nice way. We don't
Okay.
pester the hell out of them. But what we do is we say we want to know if they're going to move through on that quotation. So the closer's job is to follow up on those quotations and say, hey, like, or have you decided yet? Whatever. I mean, it's a light push. They're good closers, but it's generally a convincing close. And a lot of times, the 1 out of 3 typically comes down to money because they underestimate how much this stuff's going to cost. So they come in there and they go, oh, blah blah blah, and I think I can afford 20 grand, and it's actually 80. By the time we get down a quote. So that's the one that typically doesn't come through. So maybe we need to quantify a little better and make sure their budget. But if we are going out to visit with them, our closers are convinced.
Two of them are going to close, and you're going to make some money. What's the profit on it? Do you guys make a bunch of money, or are the margins really slim?
No, margins are okay. I mean, it's not too bad. We're at about 25%, at 35% on great jobs. Depends which type of job it is. Depends
Is
what we're doing.
the average job is like 10 grand, or the average job is 50 grand?
Average jobs are between probably $50,000 and $90,000.
Okay, so let's take 70,000. I got to do math because I'm not that good at it. 70,000 times 30%. So you're making about $21,000 from so you're making $42,000 a week if you had 10 people, you had 3 on a call, you closed 2, and you're missing out on 21,000 if we take the average of 70 grand.
Well, it's not quite that simple because you got crews, you got people. You can't just tell me, hey, Nick, you just told me I'm going to get 12 new jobs. Well, that means I got to bring on some more people. The people in San Diego are not that easy to get. So what we got to do is we got to work with reality and improve at the same time. That's what I'm looking to do.
Okay, so the 30% margin is not the procurement stage, that's the whole profit, but mine. So let's say out of the 21,000, you're making 8 grand.
No, we'll make 21 grand. We'll make 21 grand is what we will make on the project itself. Our materials are not anywhere near that high. We have our altogether, we're probably going to make 35%, 30 to 35% net to us. That's typically what we're going to make. But right now, the biggest singular problem in and around San Diego is getting qualified people to get. That's an endless problem in our industry.
And you have $180,000 salary right off the bat. So if we started January 1st, you're 180,000 in the hole.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's not 180,000 because it depends well, they are going to get paid that, but so it's not that we're in the hole that necessarily. I'm talking the crews because we use subcontractors for all the work that we do. So everything's subcontracted. We have very few actual managers that are actually going out and pounding nails and ripping out walls. There's only a manager person per every few crews.
Well,
But
I was referring to your sales guys, the closers, the 180,000. So they get like, what'd you say, 60,000 salary. So let's just say 120,000, because if they don't sell anything, they still get paid 60 grand salary.
They're 120 hard. Yeah, 120 hard.
That doesn't include electricity and all this stuff, the fixed costs that you have, plus
add on another 10% because they are contracted people. So
yeah. Okay. So I think basically based off this is we're both in agreement that the more phone calls that can be answered and followed up with, there's a direct correlation to more money being made, and each one of those, so you have a 66% close rate if you go out to their home, because you have 3 people and you're closing 2. So I'm going to call it 66% close rate if you get to their home.
Yeah, if we get to the house, yeah.
So the gap is between the 10 and the 3. 10 phone calls, 3 people have you go out there, 2 people close, and that's $21,000 a piece. So
yeah,
if we doubled that and you had 6 people, that's 4 people that are closed, and that's, my math is bad, 21 times 4 is,
that's 80.
yeah, help me out.
84.
Okay, that's 84. So that's an additional $42,000. So we just got to get you guys more phone calls and more follow-up.
We got to get more qualified leads. I think we got a fair amount of phone calls come in. We might not be able to handle them all. So that's where I thought AI might be able to come in if it's any good. If it's no good, well, then
Okay.
it's not going to help.
So here's what I like to do, and here's what really works for all of my clients that I work with. What I do is the same way that you have, and here's the way that this works because you're already doing it. This is how I run my business, and you run your business the same way as I do. You have to go out to these people's houses and get a quote. Like you have to go measure their home, see what's up, and you have no idea how much you would charge them for based off of nothing
That's
until you see
that's
their home.
that's the
So
problem. Yep.
what I do is I work in the same similar fashion of I call it an AOF document. It's an automated operations framework. And you basically told me kind of a let's call it a 50,000 foot approach to this of organizing your customer journey. And you and I both know that people don't like to be sold to, they like to buy. And what I see in most cases is most companies, they focus on their sales process and they don't focus on the customer journey process of making it super easy for them to want to book that appointment to get someone out to their home. It becomes extremely salesy. And we can add AI into it. That's cool. I mean, I don't even know where the AI would be added just yet. But what we need to do, and I assume this is me being maybe a little naive, is that you've spoken to a lot of other people, or you plan on talking to a lot of other people like myself. And I encourage you to do that. As a smart business owner, you should go and get different quotes from other people. The same way people are doing the same for you. They're calling on Google, they're getting a quote from you, and they're getting a quote from 3 other businesses. Like I expect you to do that, and I encourage you to do that. But the way that I work is we build out this automated operations framework. And so what this allows us to do is be able to get a price from me and my team because I have no idea what it is that you need built just yet. I do know that we need to get more phone calls and more follow-up. I don't know where the AI is going to be placed. I don't know your customer journey. And I think that you have all of this in your head. So I assume at your conference table with your team, at your maybe when you're driving your kids to your baseball game, their football game, when you're taking a shower, when you're at dinner, you're thinking about all the things that, man, I wish we had XXX. And your team is like, if we were able to do this, we could do that. I know you're doing that because everybody I talk to does that. When I build out this AOF document for you, it's going to get your entire processes organized in a systematic approach for your clients. And those clients, that's their customer journey of how they want to buy, not be sold to. So when Sally is calling or when, and you don't, I mean, based off what we had discussed, you don't have a way of telling about these $180,000 salary guys with $120,000 sitters or callers. You mentioned that you don't have a way of tracking that. Well, if you're not tracking that, you don't have a way of making a data-driven decision of where the energy, the time, the effort needs to go. You're doing Facebook ads, you're doing newspaper ads, and you're doing radio ads. But the same problem still exists from all 3 of those. And now you're spending more money, but we don't know where the main crux of your business is coming from because you have tire kickers. So if we can create this automated operations framework document, what it's going to do, it's going to get everything in your head, Sally's head, your other team members' heads, all on paper in an organized fashion so that we can have one central location for all of the things that you use. I didn't get into this. I didn't ask you all these questions, but I'm sure you're using something like DocuSign, something like a project management thing. You know, you have all of your accounting software that's there, and all of that is jumbled. And that's also Sally's job or somebody's job, where all of that can be automated in a fashion where now your employees are only working on revenue generating tasks. So I'll show you my screen. I'm not going to show it right now. You guys all have the AOF document, but this is an AOF document. We have a pipeline stage and we have a workflow. The pipeline stage is just the customer journey from A to Z. Z meaning that they're pulling out their wallet and they're paying you. And actually, ZZ could be like an annual checkup. Like if you're an HVAC company, you know, you have your, or a dentist, like you have your cleaning or things like that. We can automate all of that because that's extra revenue.
How
Now,
about refer?
I'm sorry?
Well, some of our best money generators, I'm just throwing this out there right now to you, is some of our best money generators come from completed jobs because we do good work. So
Like
we
a
have these
referral.
referrals. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just throwing that in there for you.
Yeah, so that's the type of stuff that can be automated, and that's the type of stuff that I'm saying like is stuck in your head that yeah, you know that that's important, but how do we build a proper system for it? So this document, we have pipeline stages and workflows. The workflows are basically just the trigger. How did they get into this stage? What did they do? Did they call? Did they text? Did they not show up? Did they, you know, not be at home when the guy came? Like whatever the trigger is that triggers each individual stage, the goal of it is always to move them to the next stage. And then the what needs to happen, who needs to be notified, what needs to be sent to them, what I don't know, contract needs to be signed, like behavioral based situational types of things that happen. And you know, at the end, like you mentioned, I mean, one, we want to get a review, right? If you could reduce your ROI or increase your ROI by reducing the spend on ads, by getting a review on your Google business page, now you're no longer spending a bunch of money on ads, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, radio, or newspaper. You're increasing your organic reach. We can add things in there like, hey, give us a review. We can also put different types of uh, like I'll call it a security feature. If someone leaves a 3-star review, that's not going to be redirected to a Google review. That's going to be redirected internally. Who's going to handle that? How do you guys assess
Can we
those?
give 2-star reviews to our competitor? Can you do that for?
No, I don't encourage any unethical things. But I'll tell you this, if you do the right thing time and time again, you will shine and you will get more referrals. We can increase, you know, we can create some sort of different type of incentive or however you want a referral program to run. But it all starts here. This AOF document, I charge $500 to go through and build this out. The reason why I do that, it takes me and you about 45 minutes to build this document out. And what it does for you is one, it's going to save you time and energy. You're never going to have this conversation ever again because now you have a blueprint of what you need built based off what you told me. So if we don't decide to work together, you could just go and find somebody else and delete my price and go and say, hey, how much does this cost? And number two is I encourage you to do that. Like if we don't work together, just go and find somebody else that can do it. But it all starts here. The same way that you don't, there's no way that you could go and give an estimate to how much it costs for the roof without going out there and measuring. Like, I don't know what it is that you want built. I have an idea based off of this simple, I don't know, 20-minute conversation, but it all starts here. So what I can do is I can send you this link to schedule a call with me and we can go through and we can build this out. Does that sound like a plan?
Absolutely. Sounds great. Let's do it.
All right, cool.
Thanks, Nick.
That
good.
is exactly how
That
I
was good.
I do not talk about anything about go high level because now you know that you have a problem. You're paying $180,000. Well, let's just 180 was the example with their commissions. So it's 60,000 salary. So it's 120 right off the bat. You're spending money on newspaper, Facebook, Instagram, radio, and you decided to just now get into radio because the problem is not more leads. The problem is you don't have a way to follow up with those leads. So I shifted it from, well, if you had 10 phone calls and you get 3, you're only closing 2. You need to close 2 more, which amounts to $42,000. So my next call with you, we're going to go through, we're going to build the AOF document. When I send that off to Adam and Brendan inside our Go High Level Mastery group, they're going to build that for us, right? If you're a member inside the Go High Level Mastery group, we're going to build that for you. So you don't even have to do that.
Yeah.
When I come back on the 3rd phone call, the way that I start this out is, hey, Bill, remember we were talking a couple days ago, and correct me if I do it just like this, the same tone, everything. I play dumb, but correct me if I'm wrong. We were talking, you were doing like 21,000 for each one. You're doing 2 out of the 3 from the 10, right? So you're doing like 42 grand. And the goal is we want to get just 2 more, which is double, which is just $42,000 more per week. Are we still on the same page? Does that still align?
Yeah.
And I start the conversation out like that before I show any of the AOF document. Because now they go into this meeting knowing, wow, if this is what I need to build, I can make another $42,000 a week, whether it's a week, a month, every quarter. It doesn't matter what the number or the time frame is, but you want them to go through with that. So every single time I go through each line, I'm like, remember, this is what's going to make you 42 grand. We're going to have them go and we're going to have, I don't know, a calendar that's going to schedule with Ron, who's the guy that's going to drive out to their house. And we're going to put a safety guard in there that says, hey, are you home? Because Ron's going to come out in the next 30 minutes, but he's not going to come if you're not there. Like, confirm that you're home because we're not going to waste our time to go out there. If not, click this link and reschedule, right? Because Bill, I know that cost you $55 just to go out there. If he's not there, you're losing money, and you don't want that to happen. So remember, we're putting in these safeguards based off what you told me to make $42,000 every week, every month, every quarter, whatever the thing is. So that when I get to the price at the bottom, I'm like, so all in all, to make $42,000 extra per week, just by getting 2 more people on the phone call, like it's super simple. And this is what you told me. I didn't know anything about your business. And you told me that we confirmed this in the beginning of the meeting. So you're telling me that this is super easy. If we just get 2 more people, that's $42,000. It's going to take 1 week for me and my team to sit down and we're going to go through and we're going to gather all the information that we need and expand this document. It's going to take 6 weeks to build this out. And that 6 weeks, I'm going to tell you right now, depends on your availability. We will always be available, but if you don't send us the logo, don't send us the DNS login, don't get on the calls with us, it's going to push it back however many days that it takes for you to do that. So this is a team effort. We're on your team. So that again breaks down the entire situation of like, I'm trying to sell them something. Like now we're in this together, bro. We're in this together. I'm gonna make you 42 grand, but you gotta show up and be able to collaborate with me and our team, right? Then we're gonna train you on how to do this. And guess what? If Sally leaves, you're gonna have all the videos and you're gonna have the SOPs so that when you hire the new person, you're gonna be able to what's it called? To train the new person, right? And then on top of that, we're going to go through and we're going to implement it, which is like just transfer everything and put it into your account. Or depending on how you want to do it, Bill, or anybody watching this video, is like you could put it under your agency, they could put it under their agency, however it wants. But there's a transfer to them. And guess what, Bill? All of this is $39,000. And they're like, wow, that's not that bad. This is going to pay in two of these. This is going to pay itself off. So now let me hop out of the what's it called? We're doing right now, like the role play.
Yeah.
If I went through and I tried to sell them a $39,000 thing without that $500 AOF document, there's no way in hell that they would be there and be like, yeah, let me think about it. No, because for the past 3 phone calls, I frameworked it to you pay me $500.
Oh.
You think that this price is too expensive, but I frameworked it like, no, wait, we're going into this call. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. $21,000 times two, just by two people, that's 42,000 already. So by the time I get to the bottom of the thing, I could even say it's $87,000. And they're like, that's not that bad. That's only 4 meetings. That's all I need. And then I can reaffirm that with, at this point, and depending on the AOF document, I can say now you have a dashboard to measure, is the Facebook ads and the Instagram ads doing better than the newspaper and better than this? We could even put a QR code inside the newspapers so that you know how many people scanned it, right?
Yeah.
Why are you not using a QR code? Why are you not using a special tracking phone number to do that, right? So like if I went into it trying to sell them phone tracking or QR code or missed call text back or whatever, they wouldn't see that value. That's worth $97. But we're
Yeah.
trying to sell this for $49,000 or $97,000 or whatever the case is. We're high ticket because you walk them through this customer journey and then they start to see like, $87,000, that covers me in an extra 4 meetings. All I need is 4 meetings and it pays for itself.
Here's an interesting one because a big part in my opinion, and part of the reason I haven't jumped in as much as I wanted to, is monthly earnings is really very important to a lot of different groups. Me particularly, that's
Me too.
something we had before. So when I take a look at everything, is it better to bundle a year in there type thing? In other words, you're on that point where you've got me, if we're in our roles, you've really got me going, and now you've got the 50 grand or whatever number you pick. You
Yeah.
know, is it like, okay, and this is what we're going to throw in? Is that something that we work with Adam and group and just and tee that up before we head out, and then say, look, if that's a problem, we could break that out into months, a certain amount of it or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
In the group, well, you get to keep the entire monthly revenue inside the Go High Level Mastery group. So I call it a group, but it's really not a group. You are paying for a team of 17 people to be by your side. I am on your sales calls. If you join the Go High Level Mastery Partner Program for $1,000 a month, you get an entire 17-person team, including myself, to be on your sales calls, and we close the deals for you. You're basically just setting up meetings. You don't have to do the AOF document. You don't have to do the sales if you don't want to. And then you earn up to 30% of what it is that the build would be.
Yeah,
So you're like, so
that's my problem as an independent company. That's giving up 70 points is a problem for me, huge problem for me. That's for
giving up
my
what?
well, because we're building our own brand. We have a lot of this stuff going now. So if I'm looking to switch to this, it's difficult for me to justify the 70%. I got to be honest.
Well, let me ask you this. How many clients do you currently have?
About 70,
70.
70.
And how much are they paying? Is this high ticket or is this like $97 a month?
No, this is I have a marketing agency that's been around for 33 years. And
Nice,
we
good
have
for you.
a variety of clients that we work with all the time. And I use offshore people to do it, et cetera. We're just moving to this AI and automation side of things and putting it out more as a little bit productized. I really want to get more productized because right now we're do it all, much like we're doing here, and it is higher ticket. I mean, our stuff is higher ticket, but it ranges. It ranges from maybe $10,000 projects to $250,000 projects. And we do everything from raising money for them, capital raising, business planning, like all of it. So we've done it for 33 years. So
Yeah.
if I'm looking to transition here, I'm looking to get away from doing all that, even though it's been quite successful. I'm looking at semi-retiring here. This is when I talked to Rahul originally. I said, Rahul, like I don't want to work more here. I want to work a little bit less, but I also need to build up a brand because my intent is to build up the brand and then sell the company.
Of course, of course.
So I'm not looking at this thing as a whatever. I want a year or two, run it up, do a great job, and maybe do 2 or 3 different verticals because we're strong in different verticals. We have been over that time period. We'd look at different verticals, maybe even running at the same time, different verticals. That's
Yeah,
our
yeah,
position.
yeah. Well, I know Terry and I don't know who admin is. They have their hands up.
Yeah, I'll
But
let
Bill, what I will say is, because I want to get to them too, and I don't want to go like
totally fair.
too crazy long, but it's I don't know how to word this. I hear a lot of people say like giving up 70% for this, right? And so it's 30% of the build is
Or we
you.
mark up the bill. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the other.
you can always mark up the build, right? Because you'll make more money if you have those clients, right? Sometimes people don't have clients. Like there's a difference between selling a $10,000 thing and then selling a $45,000 thing. And
Big.
really the only thing is just the company that you're talking to. But the other side of it is the giving up the 70%, you make that back inside of your monthly reoccurring revenue. None of the monthly reoccurring revenue is
Yeah.
anyway. So I'll call it a licensing fee or however you want to position it is like, so let's say 70%, I'll use easy numbers. Let's say it's $2,000 and you're selling it for $500 a month. You're going to make up that remaining difference, that 70% in 4 months. So as long as you are doing the right thing and not leaving bad reviews for your competitors like you were joking about, you're going to make that back there, and then you get your time back, right? So like for me, dude, I want to play golf. I don't want to build stuff. I don't want to figure out how to do this, that, and the other thing on inside a workflow and spend 40 hours trying to search all through YouTube videos. Like I just want to call up Adam and Brendan and get in the group and just be like, hey, I don't know, you guys figure it out. I did the AOF document. You guys
Yep.
gave me the quote. You guys do it. I'll collect my 30%. Let's say it's 20 grand. I'll get my 6,000. Now I'm going to go and get 4 more clients for 6 grand right now. I don't have to pay employees because that's $1,000 a month to my team of 17 people in the Go Level Mastery group.
Yeah.
And I get to go play golf, and I made $500 off the AOF document, $6,000 off the thing, which was 20,000, right? What 30% of 20,000 is 6,000, yeah. And then I'm making $497 a month off of that. So it's like,
Bill, a really easy way to think about it, like even during your role play there with Nick, the company you're talking about is doing 25 to 30%, 35% on a really good day in margins. But what is the margins covering, right? The margins is covering operating costs, the margins are covering the staffing, the margins are covering the equipment, the software, whatever the heck else they're using, their office, their electricity. Like that's what is covered in your margins in general, right? So having a 30% profit margin is good in most business avenues. What we're offering with the partner program inside GHL Mastery is that same 30% profit margin. Really, all you've got to do is get on the call, right? Get on that first call, and then we handle the rest. We are your team. We are your employees. We are your software. We're your developers that you don't have to go out, hire, and vet. So you're still making that 30% profit margin with on one call, right? That's the goal here. Get on that one call, sell the AOF document for $500. We don't care if you keep that, right? Because we'll do the AOF document regardless. If they're paying you for the AOF document, their interest level is a lot higher. We used to do hundreds of these things for free, right, in the partner program. Now we don't do them for free anymore. We get people to pay for them, but you can keep that $500 because it's showing that your client is now interested, right?
Yeah.
We
I like the AOF.
become your
Really,
team.
The funny part about that, Adam, that I really like what you're talking about there. That was something when I was moving to transition. I was talking to you guys at first, and I even told Nick this on the first training, is I'd forgotten completely what we started doing 30 years ago, which was this.
Oh man, for me it changes every 2 years.
It's like crazy.
I've only been in it for 8.
I was like, my God, because we did that often, exactly like you're talking about. It's like if they wanted a full quote, I mean, these are big. I would say, okay, guys, $1,000, let's get. And this is 30 years ago we were doing it. So, I mean, and it worked a lot. And for some reason, I was thinking with this whole world of, SaaS and everything, it's a shift. It's a shift from doing what I'd been doing, a dramatic shift in what we were doing. In a way,
but it doesn't have to be.
But it doesn't have to be.
Exactly. I mean, that's my biggest issue with the high level community as a whole is that high level is pitching sell your own SaaS. Yeah. All of the big time affiliates are pitching sell your own SaaS. But what they don't realize is that if you don't have tons of money, everybody, do you guys know who Pipeline Pro is?
Yeah.
Everybody's heard that name. The only reason that Pipeline Pro can do a $39 lifetime deal is because they have an entire team behind them. They've got a ton of money behind them. And the average sale for Pipeline Pro is actually $297 a month, right? So they do their lifetime deal, but they've got an entire team and an entire staff, an entire system and process that upsells every single one of their clients. But what High Level and the affiliate ecosystem in High Level sells is that, hey, you can create your own SaaS and sell it for $297 a month and make $10,000 in 30 days. That's just simply not true, right? It's the software itself is a monster. What we try to teach you guys how to do is get out of that, because it's a race to the bottom, right? If we're all selling reputation management using the High Level platform to do it, the only thing separating me from you is price. That's it, because it's the exact same thing, right? So what we try to do is we try to flip that on its head, and we try to position the value of creating the system quantified by the problem of the customer to sell them a custom software solution. And for those of you guys that are kind of on the fence about being able to sell high ticket, I want to put this in your head. I was in the telecom space for 10 years before I started joining High Level, and got to know the software and the platform. Our sales and marketing and ticketing software was Salesforce. And about 3 years into my business, I still have a really great relationship with my former boss. We go golfing periodically throughout the summer and catch up. And 2 years ago, I asked him, like, how much does Salesforce cost for you to run? And keep in mind, I knew everything that they were doing in Salesforce because I was in it every single day for 10 years. I knew how many staff they had, and I knew what their revenue was because we covered that in every single weekly meeting that we ever did, right? And their Salesforce accounts were costing them $3,500 a month to operate just on the licensing.
Per user?
Right? No, overall. So that was all the users included, and they had the sales. They had the sales dashboards. They had the marketing dashboards, and a bunch of add-ons. $3,500 a month to do that. And then I asked him, because I knew again how much was set up in our Salesforce account. I was like, "Did you do that?" And he's like, "No, I had to hire a Salesforce certified rep to build that for me.
50 grand.
And I was like, "Well, how much did that cost?" And he was like, "It was about $70,000 over the course of about a year and a half."
Yeah.
And that bill for me was my aha moment. Because I'm like, I knew that business was averaging about $1.5 million a year because I was part of sales, and so I knew the numbers. And they were spending $3,500 a month. They were paying all of our salaries, and they were paying $70,000 to have Salesforce developed. Well, high level, if you know what the heck you're doing, it can compete with Salesforce, especially for small businesses.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was the turning point for our business, was realizing what we could do, like realizing what was possible and what a $1.5 million business was spending on their tools.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And and once you start to understand, like $1.5 million is not a lot of money for the vast majority of businesses. And Bill, you've been in business for 30 years, so you're very well aware of that.
Yeah.
Right. But when
it's really, I like that, Adam, because it's like, you're right. When I'm looking at systematizing things, because if you go on certain verticals, you guys will just nail it after a while. I mean, after 1 or 2 or 3 customers, the build cost won't be as much from you guys theoretically, in which case we can maybe make more. I'm not sure. I just, you know what I mean? As long as we're not changing things a ton from company to company, that's why I'd want to stay in these 2 or 3 verticals that we want to go after, and we have some good contacts in.
So here's another secret for you, Bill. Our own clients that we deal with. So what we do, the AOF document, but the AOF document is our Marcus AI as a framework. So we've got a document built out for that entire snapshot. And the reason that we built Marcus the way that we did was because we've now done close to 100 different custom builds.
Okay.
And we've realized that, hang on a second, 80% of these are almost exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
There's slight variations in messaging, but the overall customer journey and the pipeline structures are the same. And so our Marcus AI default snapshot is 90% or 80 to 90% of what we need to have built for most customers when we're talking about AI developments. Okay. Right? It's once the appointment gets booked, it's what happens after that. That is typically the only variation. Right? And so if you've heard Nick talk about his magician method, which is my favorite analogy, is like, I'm going to make you pick the 5 of hearts. And the 5 of hearts just so happens to be the system that we already have.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we're going to do is we're just going to tweak it and we're going to add on to it. Right? And I know for a fact when I price everything out based on our internal pricing guide, I know that our Marcus snapshot we would charge roughly $12,500 for.
Okay.
That's going to be the base. If I was to just build it from scratch, that's what we would charge people to do it. Right? And that's the base. But now I need to add some of the minutia stuff behind the appointment booked to make it custom for your business. Well, now that gets into the 20K range. Right? And that's literally how we do it. And so when you have a system already in place, you can frame a lot of your conversation. And oftentimes the only thing that we have to do is change the name of the stages based on their customer journey, because they're the same. They're exactly the same.
That makes sense.
Right?
Makes sense. Yeah, it's very repeatable. I'm sorry, I didn't want this to be the Bill and everybody show. You guys are phenomenal. So it's like, I just do it. And this has been so valuable. I got to let Terry on because he's gonna kill me if I ever meet him. Terry, it's your go, man.
Yeah, Terry, thanks for being so.
And hey, Bill, thanks for forcing Nick into a role play. I love it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That was great, Nick. By the way, thank you. I love the reframing. It was awesome. Okay,
Yeah,
thanks, guys, so much.
I like sales, and I mean, force me to do role plays. Like, tell me what your guys are telling you on sales calls, and I'll help you with it. Like, I'm good at it. I like it.
Just to make sure that everybody was paying attention, everybody on this call, during that role play, what did Nick sell Bill? Put it in the chat right now, or come off mute and tell me.
AOF. Sorry.
Well, you weren't supposed to just give it away right away, Bill. Come on.
Hey, you got me all worked up. What can I say?
So did he sell you software? Did he sell
Nope.
you high level? Did he
Oh,
sell you reputation management or AI or lead follow up?
it was
No.
masterfully done. That rephrasing, the redirecting was excellent, Nick, in the sense of you purposely redirected away from that every chance you got by re-asking me questions about my business. I mean, that's the way to do it. It was masterful. I loved it.
Well, I'll tell you, that took me about 15 years to figure out. I remember being in sales meetings with my boss that I'd go into OBGYN offices and internal medicine offices. And the thing was is that I always thought that these guys were more qualified than me because they were doctors. And so it was like, I don't know as much as they do because they're doctors. But at the end of the day, what I learned, the same way that we're learning this, is if you know Go High Level, there is a learning curve. You have to understand Go High Level. You have to understand systems. You have to understand workflows and pipeline stages. But you don't need to know every single detail of how it works. And I think a lot of people go into selling Go High Level of like, well, we're gonna have workflow and we're gonna have this, and then we can do like, a trigger, and from there we'll do a wait step for 5 minutes, and then we'll send out an email and we'll do this. No one cares about that. And when I would watch my boss talk to these surgeons, he did it exactly the same way that I would do. And he was just like, just keep asking questions because you're going to get them to pick the five of hearts. And that five of hearts is the AOF document every single time before they even go into figuring out what it is that they need, because we don't know what it is that they need. And so when I was selling medical equipment, there were other ways that I would do it. I'm not going to get into it now, but there were ways that you would do the exact same thing, and I would look at my boss and I would just call him the goat. And I still talk to him. I text him all the time, like, dude, you taught me some stuff that I didn't know that I was going to take this away with me for the rest of my life. But if you can learn sales and you can learn the way that I just did that, because you start here, and even when we were finished, I'm like, yeah, well, all those Facebook and Instagram and newspaper and those ads that you think that you're running, why are you doing that? You're spending $120,000 on salaries, but you don't even know how to keep track of that. And I could have said, well, we could put a tracking number, we could have put a QR code there, but that's not important. I just want to close them on a $500 document and show them to where they get to choose what advertising they want with our system. Because at that point, I've become the consultant and the guru and the guy and their fractional development team and everything that they're like, man, this guy knows what he's talking about. A couple weeks ago, I had a guy come in and say, well, dude, you know, you want $8,100 to build this stuff out, and I had a guy that wants 4,000 that says he could do it, but you know what? You were the one that understood everything. And guess what? I had a call with Kaylee, who's the project manager on the group in our group, that she's running it. And he actually needs more stuff built. And he came back and said, look, I need more stuff built and I'm more than happy to pay for it more, pay more for it. And so he went from, I only want to pay 4,000 to now I'm paying 8,100 to now it's going to be like another 6,000. And it's all just from that AOF document and the whole getting them into our sales process. Like, that's the most important thing. If I came to him and said, it's going to cost $17,000 to do this, he's like, absolutely fucking not. I'm not doing that. That's way too much. Like, what are you talking about? But the second that he's the one that's pulling the five of hearts out of my deck of cards that I already know that I got through the framework of questioning him, he's like, man, this guy knows what he's talking about. I'm more than happy to work with him. So it's not easy, but like I said, join the group and I'll be on your sales calls and we can do this. Like I have no problem. I can help you. That's my sales pitch. Terry, thank you so much for being super patient. Hopefully this stuff helped you.
Oh, can you hear me, Nick?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So it helped me so much. I had to get some clarification. I watched the videos and the information you gave us. And I went and had 2 calls today. I was supposed to have 3. Had 2 calls. Well, I had 1 call yesterday. Had another call today. Sold both of those for $500. Don't know what the hell I was doing. Well, I do. Let me not rephrase that. I do know what I'm doing. I know pipelines. I know build outs. I understand that. And I had a an event this past Saturday with realtors, and I had Ava up there talking. So they was wild about Ava, but when I came back, I sold AOF. Because they was like, "Ooh, we want Ava." I said, "Ava is just one part, but what you truly need was AOF." So I didn't catch the beginning meeting on what you do on the first meeting. So right now, I just got to send them a link to pay for the $500 because I said I can't do this until you pay the $500, and then I'm gonna take it from there. So,
Harry,
where do
set up a calendar for your AOF framework
I got
and make
that?
it a paid calendar.
I
Yeah,
got
just
that.
make it a paid calendar.
Yeah,
Okay.
do that.
Needed a calendar for $500 in there. So they have to pay before they can book the appointment.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Perfect.
I did that part. So they're going to pay me, the lady, I'm doing an insurance agency tomorrow, and I'm sending this link for the other lady today. And then I got another call Saturday, and I'm looking to join the partners. And I got another $1,000 coming from a AOF I did. And I probably misquoted that. It was like $7,000, but I was like, hey, give me $1,000 up front and we'll get you, taken care of. So I have to work that out. But that's an e-commerce shop. And I did it all from the AOF. So when you was talking about the AOF, everybody was excited about the AI. I got them wild. They was all excited, but then I flipped it with the AOF, and I love the AOF position, my posture. I didn't change a whole lot of my structure around that. So when I talk to people, I'll be like, I don't sell anything. Tell me what you do. I don't know what it's going to be because I don't know I'm just like a doctor. I don't know what your illness is. So
Yep.
let's worry about the numbers. Doesn't matter if it's fixing the issue that you have. And the lady was like, you're right. So now what I need to do is reposition it in the takeaway of what would it have made. I didn't do that when I was listening to you today. I didn't do the part of how much you will make having this. So my second call with them, which will be to get, once they pay me the $500, I got to go through the questionnaire and go through and get that
Yeah.
info.
So in the beginning of your second call, because
Correct.
they're gonna pay you $500, just go through it, and now they have skin in the game. So now there's like this whole friction of you trying to sell them something. Like now you're on their team. Like you're like they're like, yeah, this guy's awesome. So you can ask them, and their barriers will be broken down. So you can just be like, look, real quick, I forgot to ask you. So let's just and this is the best way to do this because you can do numbers quickly, is let's say you had 10 people call you. How many people are you guys like closing? And they'll be like, out of 10, 4. Okay. And then now you're just playing this numbers game because you just make it simple. Like you're getting them out of like what their current real job is, what they're doing. So you just use simple numbers, 10, 4 people. Okay. Out of those 4 people, how many end up pulling out their wallet and paying you? And they're like 3, like what Bill said, or 2. Okay.
Okay.
And so you don't have to tell me this if you don't want to, but it will help me understand a little bit more. Is like, what's the average like takeaway, whether it's net or gross or whatever, from those 4 people? Let's just say they say 10,000 each. Okay, so 40 grand. So you and I, and then you reaffirm this with them. You can say like, I understand in a perfect world, 10 would be amazing, but there's a gap there of there's 6 people missing. So you're missing out on 60 grand just in this example. And they would say, yeah. So you always want to get them to start saying yes, 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 yes. So you ask questions like that. So you're like, so we're in agreement that, there's a gap there of about 60 grand. Because if each person's 10 and you only got 4, that's 40 grand. So 60 grand.
Okay.
And based off our conversation is like, the reason why you didn't close anyone in that group of 6 is because there was follow-up missing, or like there's some sort of problem. So that's what you hone in on, because now in the third phone call, when you present to them the AOF document with the price, you start the call out with exactly that. So remember, Sally, when we spoke, you guys are currently making about 40 grand out of 10 phone calls, but the goal is, even if we just got an extra two people, that's an extra 20 grand. Like, we could just get this to 20 grand. The reason why you're not doing that is just simply because of follow up. Like, someone calls in July, someone calls in January, and they say, follow up with me back in June, which is 6 months later. You're missing out on that. It might not be in that same month, but the problem is, it's like humans, we either have to be really good at our calendar and we have to remember things. So the idea of what I'm going to walk you through today is what we built that you paid $500 for. And you don't go just yet, and you just tell them the reason why we built this was, there's two reasons. One, so that we can capture an extra $20,000 from that little 10, 4, and that 6.
Right.
That's like bare minimum. Our goal is, on like, conservatively, we just want to get two more, because we know that the more phone calls and the more follow up means there's a direct correlation to more money being made. So I'm just going to call it as it is, just bare minimum. We want to make 20 grand extra, whether that's per week, per month, per quarter, whatever the 10 phone calls was that you use in the example. The second thing is we want to make the girl that you're paying $60,000 a year, her job easier. If she's struggling with follow up, then this is what this is going to do. And I'm going to walk you through that. And that's it. So that when you walk them through that AOF document, at the end, you're like, guess what? All of this only costs 30 grand. And that's only 3 extra phone calls. And then they're like, oh my God, that's so simple. This is exactly
Okay,
what I need. Oh.
pause for just a second, because I want everybody else that's listening to this to identify what Nick is talking about. What is he doing on this call to help them move forward? I already said it in the chat, so for those of you that are here live on the Zoom, you guys can cheat a little bit, because I said it when he first did it in the role play of what he was doing. And this is the single most important piece of actually selling a high ticket build. No, Bill, it's not reframing.
He's positioning they're owning their success through what he's sharing with them.
Close. You're getting closer, but that's not exactly it. Quantifying. Thank you, Karen. So you are quantifying the problem that this business is having. Because when you can quantify the problem to $20,000 a month, hey, out of the 10, if we can get you an extra 2, which is very conservative and realistic, you're quantifying the problem to $20,000 a week, right?
Okay.
$80,000 a month, expand that annually. That's a lot of money.
Make sure I'm clear what you're saying, Adam. So once I find out that pain point, quantify it, whatever that number is.
If you can, like Nick did that really, really well on Bill's call, right? Nick quantified the fact that, okay, Bill's already paying $120,000 to his sales reps. So those sales reps got to be productive, because if they ain't productive, I'm still paying them $120,000. Okay.
Copy.
Each sale that he's losing is about 21. I'm going to say 20 for simple math, $20,000.
Right.
And if we put the right systems in place, we can get him an extra 2 of those a week, which is $40,000 a week.
A week.
So extrapolate that out by a month, that's $120,000 a month. Do you think that if they can understand that quantified problem of $40,000 a week, that they will pay $40,000 for that solution?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It'll be a no-brainer.
No brainer.
Exactly. You want them to be like, this is a no brainer.
I got you.
And then the other thing that Nick talked about is the second he gets on that third call, and the very first thing that he does, correct me if I'm wrong, but we talked about this on our last call, that you're currently missing out on 6 extra calls, and if we can get an additional 2 calls per week to go through, that's going to equate to about $40,000 in additional revenue a week. Is that correct? So he's reframing now and re-quantifying the problem. And that's the start of the conversation, because then when he hits them with a $20,000 build, but you just told me that if we get 2 more a week by implementing this solution, you're going to double that in 1 week.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that's too much money?
Like Kenzel joked about it and said you're guilt tripping them, but you kind of are, because you're putting them in a position that they just said, and now they can't lie about it because they were
said
the
it.
ones that told you what it was.
I didn't do that part, Nick. I didn't put them in that ownership with the one. They was telling me we want it at the end, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't keep hitting them on the head. So I was like, well, this document is $500, and you're okay to shop it. I didn't have other people shop me, but they come back. But you have a document that you can take anywhere. It's going to be fine tuned, and I did everything you said on that first call. I said
Well,
I just
dude,
kept
you made $1,500 since the last call, so that's great. Like, that's what I'm saying. And now at that point, like, so this is like what most people say is, I'm not like, I don't have $1,000 to join Go High Level Mastery and be able to have a team build all my stuff out. And it's like, just get really good at just getting phone calls, because you're going to sell it for 500, and now your whole thing is paid for. So that's all you got to do.
Took what you said. I was like, I could do 10. That's $5,000. I could do that. I can do 5 or do 10 to get 10 of these sales. I could do that. And I identify with you, and I'm like, Nick could do that. I'm gonna do that too. So I'm gonna do it just like what Nick said, and just the way he said it. And the 2 people, and it makes a difference when I'm talking to them now, because they was okay to fight. They was like, okay, I can see that. And I was like, well, now nobody else. Well, I didn't, my whole thought process is, if you say no, then next. What you were saying in when you send us that information.
You just saved yourself a bunch of nonsense time going back and forth. It's like, this is the price, but then you also get them to logically think, because like what you said, and every time I have a conversation with the people that I sell this to, is like, yeah, I wouldn't ask you to do this for free. Like, if it's going to take you time, yeah, like, this is what I need. They start to think logically, like, yeah, if I go to the doctor, how would they know what to prescribe me without knowing what the symptoms are? How would I be able to build a house without having an architect like structure the plans? How would I know what shingles I'm gonna buy without having the person come and measure the home? Like, then they start to think like, and it's only $500. Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, let's do it.
So I appreciate you. I know that I missed the last call, but I was just out watching your information, and I'm like, I'm just gonna make these calls. And this event, I got 10 more people who I got to do these AO discovery calls with. So I got 10 more AOF presentations I got to do.
So the next step with this is you're going to have to do some work, or obviously you can join I hate to say join our group. It's it's more of like, and it wouldn't even be like white label our team. It's just like, hire our team that will just do it for you. So you just take those recordings and you send them, and that now you get assigned a project manager that will just do all of this for you. So literally, you don't have to do any of the work. Like, you just have the AOF document built for you, and then you go and you present it, because now you have the price. So if you don't join, I'm just telling you, like, because I don't want you to get into this position of, okay, now I sold $1,500 worth of AOF documents, but shit, now I need to go and build.
Oh, I already know what I'm gonna do. That's why I said, let me go sell these real quick, and then I'm joining.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that was my thought process: is, let me go get 4 real quick. I join, and keep it moving, right? And keep doing the same process over and over and over and over and over and over. And my motto is now
You have
AOF.
a $5,000 a month business minus 1,000, so you have a $4,000 a month profitable business, and you know on the back end, like McDonald's, you're going to sell your hamburgers and French fries, and you're going to sell two $10,000 deals and keep 30% of them and make another 6,000, and you have $11,000 business per month for just taking meetings. And you're charging $497 a month to use it, so it keeps stacking.
And I want to make a point here because I've been with High Level for a minute and I understand a lot of it. But with this AOF, it takes the pressure off of having to be this expert and to figure out trick. I mean, it just simplify it and it takes the pressure off of myself and the pressure off of the individual because I'm not trying to fit them into a package.
Yep, exactly. You're getting them
I
to
thank you
pick
for that.
the card off the top if you're a magician. Like, I have the 5 of hearts on top. You get them to pick that. That's what the AOF is.
And I remember
I'm happy to hear that, Terry.
And I remember Adam saying that in California, and I'm like, you know what? I like that. And when you reinforce it with what, because they talked about you at the event, and I'm like, I need to be on that call. And I'm telling you, Nick, thank you so much. You didn't redefine my whole business for me.
Cool, man. That makes me really happy. That makes me happy, man. I appreciate that. I'm glad that I'm able to help you do that. That made my
Yep.
day today. Thank you. Kenzel, what's up, bro? You're still short $3. I'm mad. You sold it for $497,
Nah.
500.
It was the same person. They just closed. So I just tacked
know.
on $3 to the high ticket. So instead of telling them 8,000, I said 8,003. So I made up for it. But no, I had raised my hand a while ago back when Adam was talking. I noticed something, and this could be just me. I don't know. Once I started, I won't say not caring, but I feel like when the more I had these conversations, the less care I felt or the less care I showed, I started closing more. Because I think originally I was going in trying to be like, I can help you, I can help you, I can help you. And now when I do my calls, it's more so like either you want my help or you don't. I know what I
Because you shifted from them feeling like they're being sold to getting them to want to buy. That is the game of what this AOF document does.
yeah,
You don't need to care anymore because it's the same way that, the girl that you were dating, you talk to your friends like, man, this is the worst relationship I've ever been in. And then the next day she's like, I'm done, I broke up. And then you're like, no, babe, I'll change, I'll do this. And it's like, wait, you just told me the other day that you didn't want to be with her. And then she broke up with you and now you want her back. It's like that people want what they can't have, right? So
I think that definitely works for sure though. Like I did two today. And we're working on sending them the AOF docs. My team, my personal assistant, she's sick, so I got like back to back, so I couldn't do it myself. But yeah, man, the one lady was just like, "Oh my God, yeah, send it. It's only 500. That's it." And I'm like, "Damn, excuse my language." I'm like, "Dang, it's she's wanting to pay me for this." And when I tell you I had the most nonchalant attitude about it, it got to the point where she was talking. I know when you're selling, you listen more than you talk, but she would not stop talking, and I was like, I gotta get to the point where I can like cut her off because she was going for it, and I was like, when we got to the end, I was like, okay, so you just said that you're only closing 6 deals a month, but you're taking 30 calls. So essentially, what you're saying is if I can double that, you're doubling your revenue, right? And she's like, yeah. I was like, okay, well, that sounds like what I explained to you, what we're gonna build is the solution that you're looking for. I mean, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But based on what we talked about, it sounds like this is a mutual relationship. I can help you make some money and I'll build it out for you. And she was like, yeah. And then, I pushed to telling her it was $500 for me to build the blueprint. I call it the blueprint. Their business is the house.
Yeah.
I'm the architect. So that's how I kind of map my verbiage out. It's like, just look at me like the architect. I'll build the blueprint for your house. You'll look it over. If you want me to build it, I can give you a build price. If not, you can take it to another builder. But at the end of the day, I'll be the one that's building the blueprint of your house. And she was like, that is a great, that's a great metaphor. And I'm just like, okay, well, either you want it or you don't. Like, that's when I went back into the you want it or you don't, because I'm like, I'm not selling you this AOF doc. Either you want me to build the blueprint, and if you do, I'll send you an invoice. Otherwise, it was a great talk. We've been talking about 20 minutes. So, then one cheat code that I have, I don't know if we have any parents in here. My youngest daughter runs in here all the time. So as soon as I'm ready to get off a call, and she runs in here, I'm like, all right, well, listen, I can send it to you. Like, she'll be right here. I'll be like, I can send it to you. My baby wants me to go outside. We're gonna jump in the pool. I can send it to you. And I'll just send you over an email. And they're like, oh, okay, great, send it. And she's like my cheat code to get off the call. It's like I'd use my daughter and be like, hey, babe, like I'll text her. She has a cell phone. I'll be like, hey, but can you come in daddy's office? And I use that as my escape plan every single time.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. Well, you're shifting them from being sold to getting them to want to buy. Like that's the secret. Like,
Well, and
when
another key here, Kenzel, is that when you get on it, here's the problem that I've seen a lot of agencies and high level people deal with, is that when they get on a call, they need the sale. I need to sell this because I'm barely paying my bills. I'm barely feeding my family. I'm barely paying my rent. Prospects can smell that from a mile away, right? And then you end up putting yourself into a position of, I need to sell something. I need to sell this right now. And the second you can walk away from that, you are going to gain way more confidence in your own process. Because when I firing a client was the greatest thing I ever did, first of all, right? Like realizing that, hey, I don't need you to be successful. And if you go into every prospect call with, hey, I don't need you to be successful, but you might need me to be successful, right? You can walk away from every sales call, no matter what their answer is, and say, like, I hope this call helped, but at the end of the day, I don't need you to buy. And when you can go into every single prospecting call with that mentality, like it changes the tone of the call, because now you're literally there to help them. You don't need them. You actually want to help them. And that was, I wanted to bring that up because that was one of the first things that you said on the call, was that, like, you feel no pressure going on these calls because there is none. You have nothing to sell them.
Right.
Yep.
So there's no pressure. Can I help you or can I not help you? If I can't help you, I'm going to tell you right out of the gate, I don't think we're a good fit, and that's okay. You don't need them. And that to me has completely changed the game of sales for me in a big way. Like realizing I don't need this sale.
Yeah.
I don't need you to work with me, but I do want to find out if you need me to work with you.
Oh, that's a nugget that I got from Nick too. That
Yep.
exact question you asked. I at first I was scared to do it. I guess the confidence coming there, but now I'll directly ask them, why are we on this call? Because you booked me. I didn't reach out to you and say, hey, let's get on a call. You clicked on my calendar link to talk to me. So now I want to know why.
And even if you, because again, somebody asked, like, hey, how are you getting people on these calls in the chat? Even if you did the outreach, like cold DMing people, whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, cold DMing people is still a good strategy that some people can do really, really well. That same question can still be asked. What about me messaging you got you interested to jump on this call? It's the same question, just slightly different, right? Because you reached out to them first, but it's the same outcome. We had a conversation, but what about that conversation made you want to book the call with me?
Yeah, that's how I start out every single call.
Yeah.
Because they start talking and they know what it is that they booked the call for. So they just start telling me their problems in their business. It's like I'm like a therapist and I'm just listening. So, well, cool, Kenzo. I'm glad that it's kicking off for you.
Oh, I was gonna tell Julia. I guess I can tell everybody. I'm multi-layered. So like I run ads. I post organically. My main kicker, I look for mentors. You know how everybody's saying coaches and consultants. I specifically target mentors that already have mentees below them because if I wow the head, it makes significantly easier sales for their community. So it's like that's really how I've been growing so fast. I got two big mentors. Both of them had at least 20 to 30 mentees. Once I wowed them, you're getting 50% of their mentees already. You just wowed the head, and now everybody's like, oh, hey, sign up with my guy. And I'm like, oh, shoot. You know, like Adam said, once that revenue went up, I was like, I think my care went down. Oh man, but yeah, appreciate you guys. You know, I'm on Eastern time, so it is daddy time. You know, I ain't tell my cheat code to come in here, but she's coming, so y'all will see her in a sec.
You didn't tell her because you didn't have anything to sell us.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Kathy, we'll do your question last, and I'm gonna call this a night because it's almost 9 o'clock my time.
I
How
just
are
have
you?
a special. I'm doing good, Nick. Thank you. I had oral surgery on Monday, so my face is swollen, but I'm good.
Okay. Good.
I have a special request because I love reading stuff. Is just how I learn. Could you please share your Fathom link in the VIP group for the VIP people?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because
totally do that.
I usually look through your stuff and I'll literally take nuggets and figure out what I'm going to do. Like I read things to learn about scripts and how to word things, and I
Yeah,
actually want to make
I'm
a
the same way.
script.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah,
Okay.
that's cool. I could totally do that.
Thank you. And thank you for the 5F. Last year when you were teaching it, it didn't resonate, right? But when you think about all your competitors that are trying to sell them the system without even knowing what the system is, the 500 is like a no-brainer for people once you get in front of them because everybody's trying to sell them a whole system. And what you used to say, what are they selling if they don't know what the system is? So my whole platform is switching over to how you set this up. I'll show you once I launch it.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm happy that well, the funny thing is that I mean, Kathy, you've been here since day one. Like you've seen everything that I've gone through from point A to now here, right? So like it's been a journey. You, I think, and Teresa have been the ones from the very, very beginning since I started doing this stuff with Adam and Brendan and everybody. I mean, Adam and Brendan, they're the ones that I owe the majority of this to, is like they changed my life, really. I mean, I went in with sales skills, but I went in with no knowledge of Go High Level or CRM systems or coding or I don't know, whatever is required for all of this stuff. Like there's a bunch, but yeah, this
I
whole thing has changed.
I agree, Adam. I was blessed to meet Adam last year, and meeting Adam, or not last year, earlier this year. Sorry, that
That was just in March, just a couple months ago.
it was just a couple months ago. Forgive me, I'm on painkillers. But anyway, Adam's changed everything for me too. I felt like I was struggling, and I felt that like it was no hope. And once I met him and Brandon and learning from you, all the pieces, being in the mastery group, it's a community, not a group, has really changed everything to where my husband is even saying, babe, you can do it. You can do this. You can win. And he's never been as supportive as he is now. So just thank you, Adam, for being such an amazing mentor. Thank you too, Nick.
Of course, of course.
Hey, Kathy. Since you said that you like to read, what I'm gonna do is I'm only posting this in Zoom because for those of you guys that are watching this on the live stream, like we do this live to help everybody, but the people that show up are the people that are action takers and what we truly believe are the people that are gonna go far. I've been working on this for, and Kathy, you know about it because I told you about it in the VIP call on Wednesday. But I've been working on this for the better part of a month, and it's basically it's a little bit of an ebook that covers all of the strategies that we teach, right from how to find and map your ideal prospects to how to do your sales calls, all of the questions that you need to ask, how to put together an AOF document. It's a little bit of an ebook, and I haven't given this to anybody yet. So literally, the people on this call are the first ones to get it. The VIP members don't even have this yet, except for the VIP members that are here. Kenzel, Kathy. There's a handful of you guys on this call as well, but I'm going to put this in the Zoom chat right now. Here's my only thing that I ask. So this is basically a rundown of everything that I've learned over the past 6 years of being in the high level ecosystem, and how to do sales and documenting everything. So there's a handful of you on this call, but I'm going to ask you just send me. I want you to read it, and then I want you to send me a direct message and tell me what was the biggest takeaway from it. I also want your honest to goodness feedback. If it was absolute trash, I want to know about it. If it was awesome, I want to know about it. So I want you guys to DM me. So everybody on this call right now, I'm going to look through the Fathom recording and I'm going to type down all your names. And I'm going to reach out to you and say, hey, did you read it yet? But I want your feedback. So I'm going to share it right now. It's just a Google Drive ebook PDF. And it outlines a lot of what
You
Nick
gotta
what Nick is teaching. What's that?
It's restricted. You gotta share it.
Yeah, go request access.
Oh yeah.
Kendall just requested access.
I remember that trick you taught us. Okay, let me go request access.
There you go. And this will also help me to know who here was on the call that actually requested access. So that's good. But yeah, I'll make sure that you guys all get access to it tonight.
My picture
and then
my picture is not even on the front cover.
I want your honest to goodness feedback. Well, Nick, you learned this from us.
Thanks, Adam.
You know what, Nick? I don't know what to say about
you learned it from us, and then you mastered it and made it better. So yeah, if you want me to change the picture, I'll change the picture. I don't care. The picture's not the important part. It's the words.
You know what? And Adam, you should this golden nugget you should share with the group why you share it this way, because it's golden. Why you share things in groups like this rather than the other way. You shared that with us last week, I think.
Well, here I can, as you guys are all requesting access to it. Here, let me share my phone screen here. See if this works. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so here's my Google Drive right here. So each and every single one of you requested access to this document. And I have your name and your email, and I can know your email is verified because it's Gmail. So I can give you, Terry right over here. I just give him viewer access and I click share. We're also building actually, we technically already have one, but it's an automation that's going to take your name and your email. Sorry, Terry, you're the guy that I singled out and shared with everybody.
No
but
problem.
at the end of the day, that grabs your email and it puts it into our database. So we've got an automation that takes everything from our Google Drive and then automatically grabs the name and the email and puts it in our CRM.
Nice.
And here's, so I actually owe all of this to Nick. I owe 100% of this strategy to Nick because in the high level official group, if you share a funnel or a website where people can go and get stuff, they kick you out. So Nick's like, dude, we can't do this. We have to just share documents with people. So we just share the document, but it's restricted. You have to request access to get it. And by requesting access, I get your name and your email, and now I can email you. So it's a little bit of a ninja hack. So if you guys are commuting in Facebook groups with your niche, create these documents, make them restricted in your Google Drive folder and be like, yo, here's a strategy that I just wrote down. You guys can use this. You guys can grab this document and literally just grab their name, email, and you've got leads.
If the admins ask you questions, you just tell them look, this is my proprietary stuff. Like, I'm not going to share this across the internet. I only want it to be shared in your group. Like, they don't know that you're collecting leads from.
Oh, we going Navy SEAL now. I love it.
Oh, dude, it was the only way I could figure it out. And we got like 490 emails from this.
Wow.
In like 3 days.
Yeah,
What
yeah. So it's a little lead gen hack.
is that? Like, if you're in a private group, you do that?
Yeah, I only do it in
Yeah.
private groups.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Julia,
all
your
those
request
groups.
isn't denied yet. Don't worry. I've only let like 2 people have access to it, so I'll get everybody in there.
Like any group that
You
you're
Adam.
in. And
Yeah,
you
so
create
if you want to, let's just say for example, you're in a plumbing Facebook group. Create a lead magnet without creating a website for them to go to, and just create some sort of document inside Google Docs. And you can say like, hey, if anyone create your like the wow factor in the post, right? Create like this amazing, I don't know. I mean, all the posts in the private group that I do right here, like I post those as well in the Go High Level like official group. And then people are like, "Hey, I want that AOF document," and I'm like, "Okay, and then I say, shoot me a DM," and I send them the link, and then they end up getting that link that you guys just did, and Google saves the name, the email, and the request so that we can upload it into Go High Level so that we can send them and get them on our email list.
So here's the trick though. So what I did, because it's in our shared Google Drive folder. So I use Pabbly, and what I did is I used an email parser. So as soon as I set up in my Google email, anytime somebody requests, so there's like a subject line that's always consistent. So and so requested access to blank in your Google Drive. So I have my email filter set that if an email comes in like that, forward it to my email parser, and that email parser then grabs the name, grabs the email, and then adds them to our CRM. And I don't have to do anything. It's just every single time somebody requests access to that doc, I get their name and their email.
So then you just create a smart list off of that?
Yeah.
Or tag them, yeah.
Tag them, create a smart list, like whatever the case may be. If you want to get really, really specific, Terry, like you can create a different automation for every doc title.
Oh, snap.
And then tag them by that doc title, and then put them into a different automation based on that tag.
I love that. I know exactly what you're saying.
But don't spread that around the internet. That's a secret
Oh,
that I came up with. That's a
currently
secret that I
live
came
to
up with.
7,500 people.
Intellectual property. Nice.
I feel like a whole bunch of people just jumped on the call now that they know that I shared that ebook, and they all want access to it.
Adam, what
Well,
product
we're
do
gonna
you
get their
use?
email.
Kathy, I use Pabbly in most cases. We have both Pabbly and Zapier, but Pabbly we use in a lot in the vast majority of our cases.
I have Pabbly. I have Pabbly too.
Yeah, Pabbly's just great because it's a like a lifetime. Buy it
That's the
once.
one
We spent $800 3 years ago
Yep.
on it.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
it's great. So
Was it an AppSumo or something like that?
no, it's just I'm trying to send my affiliate link for you.
It was launching.
Kathy, I'll get you my link.
Okay, just send it in our chat.
Yeah, you betcha. Cool, Nick. I think we can call it a day.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming. See you next week. Let's do more role plays. Maybe this week you guys go out and try to close these AOF documents. And if you are successful, tell me your successes next week. Or the other thing is, I want everybody to be really active in this group. It's not about me and Adam and Brendan and Jarrell and everybody here. Like, ask questions. Like, be in the group where we can help. Because I don't know what it is that you guys need help with. So like it
Yeah,
helps me create content.
except you get guys like me that take up the whole damn time, and that's no good. So sorry,
Bill,
but
Yeah, but you know what?
Bill,
The whole
your
time.
question was perfect today. Like that was perfect. I like doing that
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Like
okay.
that's how
That's what most
everybody
people
else
need to
learns.
see.
Yeah. It's hard for me to say like, all right, guys, we're gonna do a fake call, and I'm gonna be the rep, and then you be this. Like, I don't. I want it to be natural, and everybody come in here and ask questions. Like, I'll do role plays all day. That's how everybody learns.
Well, it was great. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys.
Cool, man. You're welcome. So, okay. Well, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you. Bye.
Take care, everybody.
All right. Thank you, guys.